The Huawei P10 Plus is the bigger, meaner, and more expensive sibling of the Huawei P10. But is bigger always better? Let's check it out. The Huawei P10 Plus is one of the most compact 5.5 inchers out there. It comes in the same colors as the P10, and even gets a few extra ones of its own. We have it in sandblasted matte black. We enjoy the silky smooth surface, but it has already started chipping away around the SIM tray slot. It's also quite prone to smudges, so you might be better off with a dazzling finish. The 5.5-inch screen has a higher resolution than either the P10 or last year's P9 Plus. The screen, however, smudges more easily than most phones we've seen. We like the contrast, but the max brightness can't quite reach that of the P10. Both the P10 and the P10 Plus have EMUI 5.1. This runs on top of Android 7 Nougat OS. It adds many extra features to the regular Android experience. You can choose between the conventional two-tiered UI with an app drawer, or have all apps on the home screen, like on the iPhone. You also get a great choice of themes to customize the interface. Knuckle gestures might seem awkward at first, but they can do some nice tricks. You can grab a screenshot of any part of the screen, or you can quickly start the split screen mode. The Kirin 960 chipset used on the P10 Plus delivers high-class performance just like it did on the P10 and the Mate 9. So don't worry, the processor inside this phone should remain competitive for quite a while. Huawei has revamped their fingerprint sensor for this year's lineup. It is now located on the front of the phone, but the most important change is that it now replaces the Android navigation keys. A tap on the surface takes you back, a longer hold takes you home, and a swipe in either left or right opens the task switcher. The sensor is lightning fast to recognize your finger, and even works when the screen is off. We're also glad to see a few other features on the P10 Plus that we missed on the P10. For one, we now get stereo speakers. The earpiece acts as a secondary speaker in this setup. There's also an IR blaster, so this phone can replace a universal remote control. And finally, it comes with IPX3 splash resistance, which should give you some peace of mind. Hey man, look out! The things we wouldn't do for our job. Anyway, next up, battery life. The P10 Plus has a 17% larger battery than the P10, but the battery performance is about the same. We suspect that the bigger, high-res screen takes its toll on battery life. In our battery tests, the P10 Plus was worse than the P10 while browsing the web, but it was better during calls when the screen is generally turned off. It's good that both phones ship with Huawei's supercharger. In the case of the P10 Plus, we were able to fill up the first half of the battery in only 30 minutes. And we finally get to the camera performance of the P10 Plus. You've already seen us review this dual camera setup on the P10 and the Mate 9, so we might as well skip the introduction. On all of these Huawei phones, we get 2x lossless zoom, and a secondary camera which captures outstanding black and white photos. Something new that the P10 Plus brings to the table is a higher grade semi-lux lens. It has a wider f1.8 aperture and reportedly better optical qualities. We certainly witnessed fewer distracting lens flares with the P10 Plus, but the sharpness was only as good as the P10's. As soon as the light levels went down, the focus in both phones became equally unreliable. The wider aperture on the P10 Plus was quite helpful when it got dark, we'll give it that. That's especially true when pushing the limits of the camera's capabilities in terms of shutter speed and ISO. In the darkest conditions, the P10 Plus had a brighter and better exposed shot than the P10. In most other cases, it used the wider aperture to shoot with slightly lower ISO. This, however, wasn't enough to produce the benefits of lower noise that we expected. The 4K video recording mode benefits from optical image stabilization, or OIS. The videos are fairly smooth and have lots of detail. 1080p videos can also make use of extra digital stabilization on top of the OIS. The extra stabilization not only cropped part of the camera's field of view, but it also created this wobbling, jello effect with the footage. It's a good thing that you can turn it off. So that's all for our Huawei P10 Plus review. This is an excellent phone, and though it's a bit more expensive than the smaller P10, it does come with some perks, namely the bigger screen, the IR blaster, and splash resistance. The improvements in the camera department are sort of marginal though. If you're searching for a deal, your money might be better spent on one of last year's flagships. The Galaxy S7 Edge or even Huawei's own Mate 9 are both already cheaper than the P10 Plus. However, if price is not an issue for you, the P10 Plus can make an excellent big screen smartphone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out our detailed text review over at gsmarena.com.